All right, the events building up to the 2023 general election is getting intense across different political platforms, especially as election campaigns will commence later this month, as announced by INEC earlier in the year. And of course, this is so much that in the two major political parties in Nigeria, talking about the ruling party and the major opposition party, the APC and PDP, these events are even more intense. Today we'll talk about some of the issues and political updates across these political platforms, and of course the preparation of both parties ahead of the commencement of the presidential campaign. So that is to start on September 28th. That's bearing a last minute change. Well, in the studios with me this morning, I have Mr. Olutayo Babalayo, who is a former youth leader of the APC in Ondo State. Thank you very much for coming on the show this morning.
Good morning, listeners. It's nice to be here again.
And I also have Barrister Femi Omoshiwa, who is a member of the All Progressives Congress as well. It's nice to have you join us again this morning.
It's my pleasure. Good morning, Nigerians.
And we would also be speaking with the coordinator of PDP support group in Ondo State. That's Mr. Bode Obanla. That will be later on in the show. I'm sure he's standing by right now, waiting for us to put a call across to him. We'll ask about the preparedness of PDP, especially as the PDP is holding its NEC meeting today. And according to the leadership of the party right now, with or without Wike, for those who have been following this program, you'll realize that we've talked about the lingering crisis within the PDP, within the People's Democratic Party, especially within the Wike faction. Maybe we call that a faction. Well, the Wike caucus now, and the other caucus within the party. Today, Ms. Bode Obanla will try and shed more light on that issue. But first off, let's start with the APC. It's no more news that the APC Presidential Campaign Council is getting all charged up and updates ahead of the polls, as campaign structures have been put in place in different states across the nation as we speak, and reconciliatory moves have been initiated as well, even though there have been reports that there is some sort of misunderstanding or disagreement, as you would want to call it, between the APC national chairman and the APC presidential candidate, which the man himself, talking about Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is the presidential candidate of the party, has refuted, calling it mere rumors from, detractors, and the party is ready and all charged up for the presidential poll, according to him. I would read out some of his words verbatim. That's coming from Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, where he refuted the claims that there is any disagreement of any sort within the party. But first off, welcome you once again on the program Public Square. Here we discuss topical issues from the standpoint of the people. My name is Olabisi Olaniyi Oluwasegun. We'll be right back after this short break. All right, welcome back. Let's start this way. Mr. Olutayo Babalayo, you are a member of the All Progressives Congress, and also you've been in the EXCO before now, and I'm sure you're privy to some information that we might not have. Now, there have been this rumor, it's been recurrent to say the least, of a perceived rift between the national chairman, that's Mr. Abdullahi Adamu, and the presidential candidate of your party, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which he has refuted, as I said. But what do you think is responsible for the continuous insinuation that all may not be well between the two parties, especially as campaigns will start very soon?
Thank you very much. Well, like you rightly said from your opening statement, you heard it from the man yesterday when he was refuting that baseless propaganda, that is being flying up and down by the oppositions. I would say opposition because though within the rank and file of APC, there's no way you will find a Judas out of 12 disciples. So there are people who just fight for one reason or the other. They are not satisfied with some certain decision, and so the best way they can, ventilate their anger is to, be rumor mongers and trying to find the embers of hatred within the rank and file of the party. But the man the Ashwaju has laid out to rest yesterday when he visited the National Working Committee, and he said it openly for those who care to listen that they were governor together between 1999 2007, and they have been a very long allies, political allies, or any other way they must have been so close. But he made it so clear yesterday that there was nothing like that. To me, I believed the way they go about their things, there's no love lost between Ashwaju and the national chairman. Everything is going well with them. So for us in APC, we are going on with the campaign. So I don't really think that is, to me, distractions, and I don't really think we should give room for anything that will distract us.
One of the things that has been said, or that has been believed to be the reason for this perceived rift between them, is the constitution of the campaign council. Are you aware of this?
Well, I am not a member of a National Working Committee or ESCO. Even at the state level, I have played my part, and though, yes, I can be privy to some certain information that is highly germane, and what I will say, like I've just said, is that the campaign, the National Committee, in conjunction with the Ashwaju Ahmed Tinubu campaign organization, they must have come together to draw the organogram of a campaign structure, and which of course they have done that for like more than 1 or 2 weeks now. 1 or 2 months ago, they have done that. So if all of us cannot be there, that's, the people have structures. So if you cannot fit in at the national level, you can't play your role at the regional level, state or local government, even at your ward level. So all of us cannot concentrate ourselves in Abuja there. Many people that are saying all this, they are not going to vote in Abuja. You still have to go back to your various states or your local governments or what have you. So for those who felt, I don't know, in fact, nobody has even come out to say no, I am opposed to this, or I don't like, I'm dissatisfied with this, and what have you. Nobody has come out to say that. So for me, all is well. But if anybody felt, oh, I should be at the national level, and for one way or the other, you are asked to go and play that role at the state level, oh, well and good. Our target is for us to win elections.
Victory at the end of the day. Okay, now let's take the words of Ashwaju Bola Tinubu verbatim now. He said the rumor manufacturers, I read in some papers about a disagreement between myself and the chairman, and that was a very big lie. They didn't know that we have come a long way. The big masquerade dance is not in the cage, but in the market square. And that is what Adamu used to be, full of wisdom. We were governors together before God put us together on this project again. Is going to deliver as the chairman of the party for me to become the president of Nigeria, and I am very confident of that. That is according to Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. However, Barrister Femi Omoshiwa, you're also you've been following events and you're a member of this party. Do you think there could be some bickering somewhere, either subtle or obvious, regarding some of these issues that we've said earlier?
Yeah, I think we have heard from the horse's mouth, and I don't see any reason why anybody should controvert what
he has
said, because truly in every setting that must develop, there could be some little disagreement, especially APC with what we have done or with what we have achieved so far. We have gotten another candidate that is going to take this to another level, and if the detractors are if they are blinded to an extent to see that we have done enough, I think what it requires is that we need to prove to them that we still have quite a lot to do, and we're not quite sure that this is an election year. And if it is an election year, there is bound to be some level of lies, rumor, and what have you. And what that is even helping us to do is for us to be stronger. And Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in his words of wisdom, he said the masquerades don't dance in the cage, they dance at the market square, which goes to show that the person of the chairman of the party, it's somebody that they have been together, they've done quite a lot together, and there is every possibility for people to begin to jealous this relationship, because the relationship is taking them to another level. And how are we not going to expect this if we have been hearing some rumors from the opposition where they begin to manufacture unfounded stories? Like somebody said yesterday, he said the wife of Ashwaju said the Igbos, they are this, they are that. When you look at the content of that woman, what that woman said, the woman said, we have been together. There is no tribe that has benefited even among the Yorubas than the Igbos, that we are together and let us live together. There hasn't been anywhere where the woman said what some people, that the rumors some people are peddling. So, being the opposition party, and that we are sure in the eyes of everybody, even within us, that we are going to clinch the ticket, we are going to continue, and we are going to do better than what we have done. I can assure you of one thing: we are bound to be envied, and that is exactly what we are.
For a man who has done so much for his people, I don't think that across political platforms in Nigeria there is any politician who has done so much for his colleagues, because if you look at the antecedents of Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is now one of the front-runner presidential candidates in Nigeria, you realize that apart from making men, building bridges, he has also made his impact, especially in Lagos, where he was once a governor. Despite all of these things, there are still propaganda against him. What do you think could be largely responsible for this, for a man of his political stature, Mr. Babalayo?
Well, for me, like what my colleague just said, I want to believe that all this is born out of envy. People are envious of the man, and apart from that, this is bound to happen during electionary year. So the opposition have to lay claim to some certain issues purposely, to discredit, and what I would call getting themselves involved in politics of calumny. So this is exactly what they are doing, because to me, absolutely, they have nothing, against that man. There's nothing to show against the man. The man sometimes, about 4 or 5 years ago, he was alleged to have maybe misappropriated some certain amount of money. He faced the high CPC at the level of Abuja there, and so the man came out clean.
Even twice.
Came out clean. So they are now looking for other moves just to ensure, because they know this man, out of 3 of them, the front contender now, I will say it, himself, Atiku and Obi. I mean, when you compare and contrast, it is so clear, it is so crystal clear that Ashwaju is what I would term primus inter pares, first among equal. We cannot contend that. Nobody can disprove that. So he has achieved a lot. When you go back and look at the antecedents of that man compared to Atiku, compared to Obi, you cannot compare the two of them. That is why anytime the man has an opportunity, we tell his supporters, the APC members, let us be focused. Because even the opposition, they don't really know how to play this opposition. They don't know how to, they started ruling since 1999. This is the first time they've been in opposition, and they don't really know the skills to employ to play this opposition effectively. That is why anything that comes their way, either they can substantiate it or they cannot. They will just come to the press, and before you know it, they will upload everything purposely to discredit the man. The more you discredit this man, the more people like him, because everybody knows that what you are saying, they are just a bit of life from hell.
Okay, let's look at the pre-primary election antics by even people within the political party at that time who have now joined forces with him after the presidential primary election. There were so many allegations at that time, and despite all the allegations and propaganda, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu did not say a word in response to some of this propaganda until the one that broke the horse's back at that time, which a lot of people reacted to. Before then, he never said a word, and even after the primary elections, despite all the propaganda, he's not even been saying anything in response. What do you think could be going through, or how would you react to this?
Yeah.
What's your assessment of that kind of attitude?
Yoruba will say, "Tori ojo aso, nla fi n ṣoore." You do good so that when the person you did it for wouldn't remember, you remind the person. And fear somebody who does not talk. When he talks, it makes a lot of meaning. And with such
an
impact, with such very timelessly made statement, very, very succinct, it speaks volume. And I think that did quite a lot. In fact, in the psyche of even the game players, even the party, even the opposition that we are talking about, if we will not deceive ourselves, the opposition knows quite sure that it is the time of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What are we talking about? Are they going to say they have not benefited from him, even in 2011? It cut across everywhere. So when the man spoke and said, Emilo Kon, he knows what he's talking about. When somebody say, give me this thing, it's my turn, he was not shouting. Look at the temperament. He was not shouting the day he was saying it. And everybody picked it. And it sent a lot of
if you ask me, as a person, I understand that it's really not an easy feat to help the destiny of one person to be a benefactor to one person, let alone being a benefactor to hundreds of people across, even across political.
And you remember, my God, he said he never gave kudos to himself. He said to God Almighty.
Now, the question I even want to ask is, maybe I should direct this question to Mr. Babalayo. You've served in, in a good capacity within the APC as a member of the NWC. What do you think could have helped Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu for him to successfully help hundreds of people, thousands of people within the party, and even across other political platforms, and sustained this momentum for years now before he came out to make known his ambition to become president?
The first thing I would say is that let us give every achievement that man must have recorded, we should give God the glory. I can tell you that God is truly with the man, because without God's direction, whatever you plan to achieve, if God is not with you, it will be difficult. For me, that man has enjoyed the grace of God since he dabbled into politics in 1992 when he first became a senator, and he sustained the momentum right from that period. Because if you go deep down to his political history, they will tell you that the way the man has been doing is good gesture. Philanthropic good gesture does not really, maybe I would say it started today. It has been there for long. And so for me, and that spirit is a spirit being given to not everybody, maybe some exceptional individuals. I think it's one of them that God has given that spirit of giving, spirit of togetherness, spirit of that unity. Wanting to have everybody around you, and again, a good leader, spirit of mentorship, You understand? He has that, and God has given him that grace. It's something that runs in his frame. It's the spirit that God has given to him. Well, others have it, but then you cannot compare. So maybe out of 100 or 1,000, you have someone like Ashwaju, and it's like when MKO was alive too. You hear of MKO Abiola, you hardly hear anything or any other person that can be placed side by side with MKO during his time. As of today in Yoruba land, even cut across the whole 36 states, including Abuja, you hardly see anyone that can make claim that he has mentored people, he has helped people. To me, Ashwaju is more or less like a destiny helper. He has helped,
like a born leader.
He has helped people in various sectors of Nigerian economy. We're only talking about politics alone. Have we gone
what about entertainment?
Entertainment area, so many. Talk of any sectors of Nigerian economy. It's only politics that we all talk about. But others, you will not see others coming up. And this is why people are saying this is the right time to pay this man back off. It's a good gesture. All he has been doing to people, to bring people up, to place him in so many leadership positions. His type is hardly to find.
Okay, when you say it's time to pay him back, a lot of Nigerians, out of sentiment and what have you, would say that sounds a bit pedestal. But let's critically and objectively look at paying him back in the real sense of it. Is it based on competence? Now, we've even heard from opposition members that Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, whether or not there is propaganda or whether it's the election cycle year, whether campaigns are on or not, you cannot take away from him the value that he has, which is, the ability to spot talent, to bring them a brush them or mentor them to leadership as well, and all the rest. Now let's talk about how some of these values would help him if in the event he becomes the president of Nigeria. How would this help him to move Nigeria forward? Do you think this is one value or one attribute that could help the Nigerian state in every sphere?
You just to make an addendum to what Oluchi said. When God is doing his thing, what he wants to do in 20 years, he has started today. You see, the attributes we are talking about are running contemporaneous. The qualities he has, because you cannot build something on nothing, it will not stand. And I was telling somebody one day, we're discussing, the person said, he said, for somebody to know that the good he's doing is going to pay for him. He said nobody knows it. He said, but Bola Ahmed Tinubu was doing good. He never knew that it was going to pay for him someday. So when you look at all these attributes, they are nothing but the handiwork of God. Because some people will do something, they will stop. Some people will not start early enough. Some people will start at the middle. But this man, ever since, I've not seen anybody that said he came in contact with Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and he has not affected his life positively. When you now look at what Nigeria needs now, the quality of the person that should be able to steer the ship of Nigeria, this man has it par excellence. Are you talking about capacity? Are you talking about experience? Are you talking about ability to unite Nigerians together? Because we need it now. This man's tentacle spread across the length and breadth of Nigeria. And if we must be very painstaking in dealing with this one by one, we have to understand that among the three main contenders now, when you see some people, they will say, oh, this person, if he does this, so thing will happen. I've not seen anybody that will say, if Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu becomes president, Nigeria is going to divide. No. In fact, when you look at even the agitations here, he has never supported anybody. What he does is how Nigeria can be together. And when you talk about pedigree, especially now that Nigeria, many people will talk about our economy. Yes, it is all over the world, but we need somebody that can take us from this level to another level. Ashwaju Ahmed Tinubu.
Campaigns have not started anyway.
No.
So that
we are discussing his topic. We are discussing about him, and if we must discuss about him, we
could focus on the attribute I talked about.
So I am talking about
and how it relates to Nigeria.
And if we must look at what Nigeria needs now, the qualities of the person that is going to take over from the person that is the commander-in-chief of armed forces of Nigeria and the president. Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has it.
Okay.
He has the capability.
Now he
has the experience.
Let's talk about the crisis within the PDP right now, the Wike factor, and we don't know what the outcome of the NEC meeting would be today. The much I know, the NEC meeting will be held today, and then the campaign council will be constituted. With or without Wike, the PDP has gone ahead to continue with what it has to do to ensure victory according to the party. Now, do you think this position, this situation within the party would affect the chances of APC ahead of the general elections? What do you think will be the effect of the Wike situation in the PDP on APC ahead of 2023, Mr. Olutayo, before we speak to Mr. Abode Obanla?
Honestly speaking, left to me, I would have loved to address this issue this way, because first and foremost, I'm a member of PDP, and whatever goes on within the rank and file of PDP is their own business, not actually my own business. So, people have been saying all the drama the last 2 maybe months or shortly after their so-called convention there, and people have been witnessing the drama going on unabated. But for me, honestly speaking, either it will affect the factions between the two of them or their party generally as a whole, either it's going to have a lot of disadvantage to them or not. It's left for them to resolve their own internal problem. It's their own internal crisis. So
let's try and form the basis of this conversation. I have Mr. Abode Obanla right now with us live on phone. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us on the show for the first time.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Mr. Abode Obanla is
for the first time.
Yeah, for the first time, yes. He is a coordinator of PDP support group in Ondo State. So we're talking about the events building up ahead of 2023 election, and then the Wike situation and the PDP internal crisis came to the fore. Now the question is, your party is going ahead with its NEC meeting today, am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that means that the campaign council will be announced today at the end of the meeting.
They will go into it because already they have been prepared. They will go into it and approve it. After approval, they will not populate it. That is how it works.
Okay.
But before this start, I've been listening to your guests there, the two guests.
Okay.
You brought two APC there, coming there to campaign for Ashwaju.
Well, campaigns have not started.
I've been listening because I'm online. I've been listening to your program from the beginning. You see, what happened is that we have not started campaign. And when you are discussing your person or your party, don't jump into my party. Don't jump into opposition. Discuss what you have for us.
Now the question is, Mr. Obanla, the question is, I brought you on board for the sake of clarity and balance the repertoire. That's why you are on the show in the first instance. So now, whatever clarification you want to make, you can go ahead and do that. That's why we brought you on board.
Okay.
So the question is, your NEC meeting is being held as we speak, if it's not over yet, but the NEC meeting would hold today, all things being equal. And the much we know is that River State Governor Nyesom Wike will not be part of that meeting. Don't you think this would cause even more crisis within the party and even drift the members apart? As you already know, we have the Wike caucus within the party already, especially in River State, who have queued behind Nyesom Wike. And within the governors forum in your party now, we hear that there is a divide along regional lines. There's a southern the ones who are behind southern agitations and those who are behind the northern agitation. Now, how is PDP managing all this crisis and situation ahead of 2023 election?
My monitor, you know, when I want to talk about PDP, I'll be speaking facts.
Okay.
Not rumor.
All right.
I'm privileged to know exactly what is happening.
Please educate us.
From me, yes?
I said you should educate us.
So what happened is that our party is an organic party. Our party has a kind of system that no party has it. You see, this thing is in process. If a person contests an election and is aggrieved, we have people like that in APC, but they are not playing it up. The kind of character we have, that of Wike. Wike is a very good person. He has worked for the party. He has been in the party since 1938, and he has never left the party. If he doesn't contest the election, it will be so painful that he lost the election. Having lost the election, the kind of thing he would like to give to the followers is for him to struggle for the BP. He struggled and it was not given. So what happened is that he has to fight for his right. The way he fought, the way he's fighting it is even from others. Others will just keep quiet and start a virus approach. Some do a virus approach and it's more dangerous. But we are very happy that the connection of Wike he has been fighting for his, not that he will leave the party, not that he lost the party, he will stay with the party, but he has to fight for his right, and I love it. He is fighting it, and let me tell you, the party PDP has a way of resolving it. It's in process. Now he has fought, he is fighting everybody to know that this kind of routine, I'm not fighting for myself alone, I'm fighting for the people that are following me. That is the attribute of a good leader. He is doing that. But what happened is that what I want to assure you of is that he can never leave PDP and he will still work for PDP. Let me tell you how the thing is going on. They have gone, talk to him, do this, do that. That is a process. Now, yesterday, there was a caucus meeting. First, there was NWC. They discussed and put some things in place for the caucus. The caucus met yesterday around 8 p.m. and they set agenda for the next meeting for today. Before the next meeting, by 11 o'clock now, the DOT will meet. They will discuss this issue. All these gray areas will be resolved. And at the end of the day, all of us will come on board. Even what is happening today is a campaign for us. Somebody said we are dead. But today now they know Wike is from where? It's from PDP. And the noise is all over. This means it's a campaign already. When we resolve it, it will be very sweet. That is PDP for you. We have a mechanism of resolving our issue. Okay. We have the BOT, very standard. We have the NEC standard. We don't have a party in one person's hand. Our party is for everybody. PDP, power to the people. We all own PDP, not anybody.
Okay. Okay. That has been said, and thank you for the facts you've laid bare. But let's look at this issue critically and objectively. You keep talking about its campaign for PDP. Campaign could be negative and it could be positive. Now, Wike has been agitating for what he called equity within the party, and one of the demands is brought to the table during some of the conciliatory moves that were initiated by the leadership of the party was that the national chairman, in person of Mr. Yosha Ayu, should step down for the sake of equity. Since he's a northerner and the presidential candidate is also a northerner, then it should make way for a southerner to replace him so that there would be equality within the party. Do you think this demand would be met in the first place? And is this agitation even justified in the first place? You've been a southerner yourself.
Yeah, that agitation is just all politics. All they are saying is politics. Removing Ayu or Ayu continuing with it has nothing to do with election. What happened is that somebody played the game, like a person like Wike, for instance, and others. They played the game.
What kind of game?
The game is a political game now. When you say, okay, the chairman should go to the north, whereas it should be in the south. or the chairman should go to North Central, he should go to Northwest, he should go to Northeast because of your interest. When after doing all those things, the team failed, then you have to fight back. That is what they are doing. And then to be resolved. Are you resigning or not resigning has nothing to do with the election. And this issue, for instance, is a kind of do me, I do you. To
pacify Wike and to make your reconciliatory moves. Will Iyacha step down before campaign starts?
He can never step down. Forget. He can never step down. That is the basic thing. What happens is that if our party is an organic party, it has process and it respects its constitution. If you step down today, there will be crisis in the party. Too much crisis. Because we follow our constitution. We don't play better butter politics now. We don't go to market to pick people. We organize our party to the extent that the chairman, if he resigns today, the constitution says a person from his zone will replace him. That's the constitution. And if the chairman resigns today and the counting is zoned to the south, the secretary of the party who is the east, it cannot be the same zone with the chairman. It's not possible. So everything will be destroyed. So there's no point doing any kind of arrangement now.
Okay.
It is going to be after the election.
Okay.
So that is something.
Mr. Bodobala.
They will pacify. There are many other demands.
Okay. I was even going to say that, but before I go on to the other demands that we hear that Mr. Wike has put forward, let us now look at your comments. You said if Iyacha steps down, it will cause more crisis within the party, deepen the crisis within the party. Now, are you saying that the PDP would better make do with whatever crisis the Wike situation would cause than, manage the situation that could arise as a result of the resignation of Mr. Iyacha Ayu? If the PDP is left with an option, which do you think would be better for the party?
What happens is that we are very happy that we have a matured and experienced candidate of the party. He kept quiet all this while. Now, what happens is that they know how to pacify our people. What they want will be given to them at the end of the day. What happens is that apart from chairmanship position that we cannot shoot, other things will be given to them. Nobody. The only thing is that they're only playing up this thing in PDP, and I'm happy they're playing it up because it's helping us. It's a kind of campaign for us. Now, what happens is that you see, the only demand that is difficult to achieve is that of chairman. It's very difficult to achieve. What about
the reports that Wike was quoted to have said that your presidential candidates in the event that he becomes president should agree to a one-term tenure situation? What about that kind of demand? Do you think it's also doable? Is it achievable?
Anybody can demand anything. It is part of demand. It's stated about 6 things, and some will achieve, some will not be achieved. Wike can never tell us how the number of years his president can spend.
Was that part of his demands?
Those in social media, they said it's part of the demand. It's not part of the demand. What I read, what I saw, what he demanded for, is not part of it. He said it. They said it on a jocular matter, and they said it's not possible, and they would do it. They had to demand for several things. Yeah, it's not even possible for him to say the president should spend 1 year. Is he the owner of PDP? Is he the populace that want to vote for Atiku? So what happened is this? It's not the electorate. Now what happened is this? They demanded for certain things. The kind of fight they are fighting is of political survival. It's a survival of political life. It's survival. Fight for themselves. Fight for their followers. So they should be left out in this government that is coming. Now what happened is that what they demanded for, they will give them. The POT, the NEC will resolve the whole thing. They will resolve it, and we are very happy there is time now. There is time. We still go to judge and do what we can disagree. We disagree to agree. We can disagree in any party, in political party, political like PDP that is so structured. We will disagree and will come together. Nothing. There is nothing. Even before the convention, the national convention that produced Ayu, there were disagreements. There were fights here and there. We settled it. without any problem. Then before the presidential election, there are crises. You settled it. Today now is another phase of the crisis. You still settle it, and I am assuring you, before the campaign starts, they will have resolved the whole issue. He himself knows that he has senators, he has a House of Reps, he has governor to produce. The same thing. Shemakide wants to go for second term now. Well, they wouldn't rock the boat. Well, so autumn is for Senate. They wouldn't rock the boat. So all these people, they are for PDP.
Mr. Obanla, to cap it up, then Wike seems to be more resolute than you can imagine. About 2 days ago, he was quoted to have said somewhere that he would crush anybody who wants to undermine the Rivers people. I don't know if...
What did he say yesterday? What he said yesterday was different from what you have been saying. You see, what happened is that this thing is in process. They will, at least, everybody has your character. Like I told you, even there is a person like Udom. Udom took contestants now, and he kept quiet. That one is more dangerous than Wike. Wike is really a better person. Wike is talking and will resolve it. Other is keeping quiet, but we have resolved all those things too.
All right.
Everything will be resolved without any problem.
All right, thank you.
People will win the election.
Well, we would have...
What happens is that, moderator, let me say this.
Okay.
Tell everybody that's campaigning for Ashwaju to campaign about APC government for 7 years. What have they done? Tell us. That is it.
All right,
we are suffering. People are dying. Everything is... Let them complain. It's actually does not want to be governor for Lagos State now. They are campaigning for Lagos State. He was Lagos State. He was this. We are talking about Nigeria.
All right, thank you.
The former vice president that is not contesting for president is better than any other person.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bode Obanla, coordinator PDP support group in those states. He joins us from Abuja. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time on the show.
Thank you.
Well, he said a lot already. That's Mr. Bode Obanla there, and he's been able to clarify some of the issues in contention right now within the party. And going forward, we'll just keep our fingers crossed and hope that PDP will come out with a better story regarding the Wike situation. According to him, it's under control. Now, let's talk about the APC. He made a serious allegation there. Would you say there is nothing good about the APC government for 7 years, Mr. Olutayo Babalayo?
Please, I would like to quickly make reference to one or two things that the last speaker said. For me, I don't even know how organic that PDP of a party is. That the simple, the simple statement, maybe I should call a statement that is embedded in their article. I don't know the section because I'm not from PDP. He has not really addressed the issue, the bone of contention. Put sentiment apart, we are all Nigerians, so PDP, APC, or what have you, we are Nigerians. What Wike was fighting for was because the simple clause in their party that they all agree to abide by, they have jettisoned it. And that has to do with the issue of Motoshema. That should chairman comes from the south, the presidency should be sent to the north. That is one of the reasons, the major issue that Wike has been fighting for. And of course, like I said, put party politics apart. If that has been embedded in APC constitution, the only issue with APC has to do with a Muslim ticket. And this issue of Muslim ticket is nowhere to be found in our own constitution, because we never foreseen it. And of course, religion apart, religion has nothing to do with plain real politics all over the world. And so for me, if you have really, embedded certain clauses in your constitution that should president comes from north, then the chairmanship should go to south. Now Wike is saying, remember that the chairman that left was from River State and zone to south. Southern part of Nigeria. So when you are having another national convention, common sense tells everyone that the national chairman of PDP should go to the north, and that was why in the first place they zoned the thing to the north, not central. Where are you in mind? So it is expected of them that the PDP presidential candidate should come from the south. This is what we can be fighting for, and this is what we are talking about: equity, fairness, and justice. That that is about the issue of PDP. For me, has said a lot. All I know, if anybody is saying that for the past 7 consecutive years that APC has not done anything, well, I will equally ask them what they did for 16 years. We have just spent, and that's what we are saying. Before you can come, he wants to talk about equity, you have to talk about it with your clean hands. If they want to have moral justification to say all these things, give APC more 8 years, so it will be 16. So after 16 years, we cannot come back, compare and contrast. I know we are winning this election. We have said it, we have not started campaigning. So if I should start rolling out the achievement of APC, we have few minutes to go. I will still need about 30 minutes for me to start telling you which time will not permit. We have done very well. Agree to the fact that yes, we have challenges all over Nigeria, and the challenges we are talking about did not just start today. The issue of banditry, the issue of insecurity in the country did not just start today. It started during PDP. That everybody knows. So when we have more time, we will say that we have done creditably well. If the time we allow, I will start doing our
because of our time, we really have to run now. But before we go, Barrister Moshua, would you react to Mr. Obanla's submission on the show this morning before I ask my question?
Mr. Obanla, I see. They said he's the coordinator of PDP support group in Ondo State. His response does not portray the representative of a coalition of a group for a national party, maybe for a state party. And because by the time you hear the language he was speaking, he was saying that we cannot demand for a particular thing, especially when what Wike started with was power should come to the south. So I see their party as a party that have thrown morality to the wind. All what they are looking for is power, and they don't know how this power can be gotten except by force. Now by the time you now take it to the achievement of APC, let us look at how much a barrel of crude oil was sold during PDP time. What President Muhammadu Buhari inherited when he came back, and you now just opposite to event for almost 3 years. It has been a little bit above $40 against when Goodluck Jonathan was there, when it was $160. So, and what we are seeing in the whole world now, it was this morning that I read it, that even pound sterling has a slide even against dollar. Yes. So by the time you begin to see all these things, you just oppose it, you compare and contrast. APC has done so well. Let me just mention one achievement.
Because of our time,
touch the psyche of Nigeria. The second Niger bridge, when you are going from Onitsha to from Asaba to Onitsha, many government, especially in the 16th year of PDP, they have given award of that contract. We don't know where the money, how the money went, but this government, before we finish the first 4 years, they awarded the contract. And I can assure you, before the end of this year or early next year, the bridge will be completed and it will be commissioned. Let PDP go and think about that. And why another time when we have opportunity, we reel out our achievements. Compare and contrast.
We'll need to come back.
16 years and 8 years of APC.
We will need to come back for that. Maybe by then we will also open the ports for people to call in to also air their opinions. But first, we'll have to run now. Thank you very much for coming on the program this morning, Mr. Odutayo Babalayo.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming on the show, and Barrister Femi Omoshiwa. Thank you. And my appreciation goes to Mr. Bode Obanla as well, the coordinator of PDP support group in those states. Thank you very much for being a part of the show, and for everyone who has been trying to call, we really apologize we cannot take calls this morning. Public Square will go now, but it will return next week Thursday, God willing. My name is Olabisi Olani Oluwasegun. For every comment on Facebook, we say thank you. For little hitches, we cannot take your comments this morning. We apologize for that. Next week we will do justice to all your comments. Good morning once again, and thank you very much for being a part of the show.